Hey guys, and welcome to Faewood. So I wanted to decorate some things for my backdrop, and I decided to decorate this, which used to be just a teal coloured flower pot, and I didn't really like it. So I spray painted it black to start with. Then I went through some of my stash. I wanted to reuse a lot of the things that I have already got and just didn't have projects for. And I've been holding on to this sun and moon pewter charms for years and years and years, the longest time. So I thought it was about time I used them, and I also threw in some jewellery that I had as well. And so I'm basically making lots of different apothecary type bottles and jars for my backdrop, and I thought it'd be fun to do a sort of, I don't know, universe inspired potion, essence of universe. I don't know what you would say this was, but just using a lot of the stuff that I already had. So I put this swirl around the sun and moon as the design, and now some plastic little droplets.
What? Plastic?
Nothing better than a little bit of plastic in your work. So great way to reutilize things. These were some old earrings that my friend Nicole gave me. She gave me a big bunch of old jewellery to reuse in things, and this seemed a perfect use for these little plastic gems. And then I found these little stars, which I thought was also perfect. And I just wanted to sort of finish off the other end of the necklace with something so that it swelled right around, and I had an earring again that I used. Then I've sprayed it silver to get a look at what it looks like. Now you guys have seen me use this PARFIX stuff in a lot of projects, and because I've still got it on hand, I thought I'd give it a try on this as well. And I just basically wanted to fill in all the gaps and everything with this PARFIX. So really push it into any of the little grooves, nooks and crannies, but still obviously letting the moon and sun show through, and just sort of smooth out these shapes so that they look like they're emerging like an embossed shape out of the vase. So I ran out of time and let it dry and sanded the part that I'd already done, but obviously you can see there's a little bit left that I still need to fill in at this point. So after I do a little bit of sanding to smooth some areas out, I do go back and fill that last bit in. Now I had some chain as well. I thought it might look cool to have some chain around the neck of the bottle. So this is just an old necklace that I wrap around, and I used the E6000 to glue it in place. I had these little star beads, and I thought they would look perfect to dot some little stars around. And I've just used this BOYLE's craft glue, which is a bit of a tacky glue, to stick them on, and then just sprinkled some of my little micro beads. If you guys have watched other videos of mine, you might have seen these little micro beads that I can't even fit over a needle. And I'm trying to use them in different projects where I can think of ways to use them, because I've got so many and I can't use them in beadwork, unfortunately, because they're just that fine that I don't have needles that fit through them. Now this is the other side. You can see I did make a little bit of a mess with the silver, but I'm painting this anyway, so at this point I really don't mind that it's messy. So I'm just gluing some gold rhinestones on the back, and the idea is on this side that I want to do you know, a starry night sky and, you know, a constellation type thing. I didn't really think ahead and put a specific constellation, so it's a completely fictional shape, but I just made it try and look like that. Again, I'm using those micro beads. Now, I didn't really need to spray it with silver earlier. You could have just done all of this and then sprayed it. It was really just, I was not sure where the design was going, so I thought it'd be easier to see it all in one colour. So this is sort of the opposite method to a dry brush method, where I'm trying to add that antiqued look, but by using black that I'm putting as a wash, and then I'll get a cloth and wipe down the more protruded areas of the design so that the black only stays in those nooks and crannies. I start off with some metallic paints for the stars and the sun. And for the swirl, I thought I'd use some, you know, purples and pinks and things like that. Sort of like the colours you sometimes see in the gassy vapours in the universe. And then I'm doing this nice dark blue, silvery colour in the background. Now I wanted this design to look, you know, aged, antiqued. I didn't want anything too perfect or, you know, crisp, I guess. I wanted it to look sort of washed out, almost like a watercolor. So I really tried to keep things, you know, blended and smooth and not really too contrasted, I guess, with the colors. And when it did get too contrasted, I'd try and soften it up again. Some parts I wanted to stand out a little bit more, like the sun and moon. I wanted it to be clear that that was what the design was, but still keeping it somewhat soft. Now just to add a little bit more magic and shimmer and that sort of thing, I've used these Pearl-X interference colours. I've got a gold, which I use on the stars, and a violet that I use on those sort of swirl of planets. Now, of course, you can make this with all sorts of different charms and designs, just in the same techniques that I've used here. It could be a sun moon thing like I've done, or something entirely different. And then I add that Pearlex spray, or that pearly spray I should say, over the top, just again to soften any harsh contrasts between the colours. But make sure you do dab it off a fair bit so that it doesn't make any of the paint bleed. Now this is the same blue that I used on the other side. I just, you know, mixed a little bit of black and silver into some cool blue and got that nice deep blue. And I want a little bit of, you know, that universe gaseous colours and shapes in the background, but I don't want it too contrasting because I think it'd be too busy. So I just kept it dark purple, and then this nice yellow gold for the stars. And then I just draw a white line between some of these stars to make it look like it's a constellation, but obviously it's not a real one. I've just done it for design purposes. And, you know, if you thought ahead, I guess you could put your own star sign on there, or something that means something to you, or make up a new design. And again, I've just sprayed that pearl mist spray on top. Now this is a vase, it doesn't have a lid, so I just put some material over the top. And I had this organza on hand and some jute cord, so I just tied the material on with that jute. And that's the finished bottle. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you give something like this a try yourselves. Let me know if you do, I'd love to see the results. I think this is going to look great in the backdrop. Look forward to some more videos of me creating things for the backdrop soon. Thanks guys for visiting Faewood, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.